Levante Baker, producer.
Eddie Morrow, narrator.
Stevie Lancott, technical operator.
Mauro Ariano, video editor. And you're here with Tech9 Productions. We are creating a secure remote administration using SSH, which is preferred over Telnet.
Okay, the first step to installing secure remote administration is to install Telnet to your server computer. After starting the Telnet service, you must now enable the port forwarding on the router to ensure a package through to the Telnet server. You must enable the Telnet server. The inbound port is 23. Make sure the type is TCP and type in the IP address of the server. And we also show our secure shell, which we will be later using in the video. Now we must create a client that will be able to access the Telnet server. We must do this by going to my computer, right clicking on manage, and computer management will come up, and then we go to local users and groups, users, and then create a new user. As you see, we have already created one named Telnet user, and he is the member of Telnet clients, so he will be able to access the Telnet server. Click on OK. Now we have switched from our server PC to our client computer, and we must now enable port forwarding through our Windows firewall. Now that we have created our outbound rule for our Telnet client, we have already created our free SSH outbound rule so we can receive the packets from the server. Here it is, our name, protocols and ports, TCP, and the port number, which is 188. After configuring the inbound and outbound rules on Windows Firewall, we must now enter a static IP address. We do this by exiting out of Windows Firewall, then going to Start, Control Panel, and find Windows Sharing and Networking Center. Go to Local Area Connection, Properties, TCP/IPv4, then Properties. We shall be using a 192.168.2.6 for our client. Close it out. The reason we are using a static IP address is so that the IP address is used over DHCP, so we have a solid connection between the client and the server. This also helps to ensure that the server and IP is constantly the same. You always want to have a static IP on any server for that matter. After we do this, now we must change the internet option settings on the automatic detection, and we do this by exiting out of our network sharing center, going back to Start and to Control Panel, and scroll down and we find Internet Options. Go to the Connections tab, and at the bottom there is the LAN settings, and you want to uncheck the automatic detection settings. You want to uncheck this option of automatic detection box because it ensures that the DHCP is fully disabled and doesn't conflict with our static IP. After you uncheck this box, you press OK and OK. Now we shall be showing you our Telnet session between our server and client. We will be showing you how Wireshark will capture the packets and show how Telnet is insecure. First, we will open up our PuTTY, click Run, type in the IP address of our server, clicking on Telnet and ensuring that the port is port 23, opening it, and then running going to Wireshark, clicking on Capture and going to the interfaces, and then selecting the interface that the port is connected to, Then going back to our putty, then typing in the username, which is tuser, and the password. Now we are in the Telnet server. We'll go back to Wireshark, stop the capture, go to the filters, type in Telnet, and apply the filter. And as you look through the package, you will now see our username. As you can see, the T, the U, there's the S, E, and the R. You keep scrolling down, you see password, ISAT316. Then when you go to analyze and follow TCP stream, you can see the username and the password. There may be 2 letters to show up for the username. This is because there is a handshake between the client and the server to ensure that that is the correct username. And there you go, you have your username and password. Now we have downloaded a free SSH server. We'll use this server for our encryption. We have installed it on the computer. Now we must configure the settings. We have added a user already to our server that will be able to access it. We did this by going to the users tab, then clicking on add. Then we named the login SSH user, and we chose the authentication of password stored as SHA1 hash, and then we used our password. And then you can select which one you'll be using it for, shell, SFTP, or tunneling. Then we clicked on OK. Then we chose to go to server status. When we started our server, as you can see, it's already running. Then we went to encryption, and you can choose whichever encryption you want to use. We chose any. There is AES 128, 192, or 256 bits. 3DES, Blowfish, Cast 128. You can choose whichever one you want to use. Click OK, and then you will be able to run your server. Now we will be starting our SSH session. This session is more secure than Telnet. It encrypts the packets that are going across Wireshark to the client from the server. The SSH server uses encryption such as AES 256 bits, Blowfish, Cast 128, and 3DES. Now we shall start the session by going to putty, running it, typing in our server for SSH, making sure that the SSH is selected, and then typing in the port. Now open. Now we shall run Wireshark. And go to capture interfaces and choose the interface which the packets will be going across, and then go back to login, type in the username, and then typing in the password. And as you see, welcome to our video project. Now we shall stop the capture and go to filter and type in TCP and apply it. And now all we see is TCP streams. And now we shall go up to analyze and then follow TCP stream. And as you can see, all the words that went across Wireshark have been encrypted, and you cannot understand what our username or password is. Okay, thank you for watching our video on Telnet and SSH, seeing how Telnet is less secure than SSH, as it shows the login and password of your session, and SSH shows it encrypted. This is Tech9 Productions. We out of here, y'all. Deuces.